Today we are checking out A Broken Man by Dream Theater. If you'd like to skip straight to the reaction, the timestamp is there. Now, I don't normally like checking out more than one single before an album release, but I decided to check out this song because my reaction to Night Terror was pretty negative, but I still have faith that the album is going to have a lot of good material that I really enjoy. So I just wanted some confirmation on my faith through checking out this track. I hope I like it. It would give me even more reason to be excited for the album. And even if Night Terror wasn't my thing, we're going to keep an open mind. We're going to listen to the song the whole way through. I might make a comment here and there over the music, and then I'll give my honest overall opinion once we finished hearing it. If you don't know me, my name is Ohakade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Valkada. You can check out our music down below. Check out my Dream Theater playlist for other Dream Theater content I've done. There's also a link to my reaction database spreadsheet if you really want to see every single song that I've covered on the channel. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is A Broken Man by Dream Theater from their upcoming album Parasomnia, out February 7th, 2025. Sounds a bit like Honor Thy Father. Sick drum fill. Wow. Ooh, this part's pretty. With the harmonizing guitars and the piano, that was a really pretty brief moment there. Jordan Rudess doing his Rudess thing. Ooh. Oh my god. The guy's grabbing a beer. Okay. Right. Trying to gather my thoughts on this. I'm tempted to want to say that I prefer it over Night Terror, or that this song does make me more excited to listen to the album, but I don't know if that's entirely true. Like I said, I really want to like this a lot. I want to be excited by it. I want to be excited with you. And I want to tell you, whoa, you know what? This is the song that makes me excited. But unfortunately, if I'm completely honest with myself and with you, I just don't think that's the case. It's a perfectly well-made song. There's lots of really impressive performances. It's reasonably well produced. I don't hate it. I don't consider this a disappointment necessarily. I was a little disappointed by Night Terror, but going into this, my expectations were a little tamed. So I'm not totally shocked that my response to this song is lukewarm. I'll try to get into more specifics. The thing about this song is that there's individual moments that I think are really cool. Like there was that one part with some harmonizing guitars and piano. I was like, oh, that's really pretty. And then it kind of went away. There's parts of the instrumental section with Jordan's keyboards that I thought were pretty impactful. I liked the melody. I'll show you the part I'm talking about. Like the melody that Jordan is playing there, paired with the heavy guitar riffs, I enjoy that quite a bit. But the tone of the keyboards, it's bordering on that circusy thing that he likes to go to sometimes. I don't know if that circusy, goofy feeling is appropriate for this subject matter. We did go full-blown like honky-tonk silliness for this part, but the visuals did help me realize what they were going for with this. It's sort of, you know, the soldiers trying to relax and have a good time and partying. I get that. But then, you know, we transition to, you know, the image of the graveyard. Very serious, dark stuff. And maybe it's just me, but the tone of this song doesn't really do justice to that tragedy. This chord progression is fairly interchangeable when it comes to previous Dream Theater songs. You know, I'm getting hints of the Ministry of Lost Souls, in the presence of enemies, moments of deja vu, yet again. And that was a big criticism I had with Night Terror, is that a lot of these ideas seem recycled. I guess I'm not gonna level the accusation at John Petrucci here. I don't really know if he came up with this chord progression, but I believe it's him because it's that thing that he defaults to a lot. It's in him. Every composer has their own tendencies, I guess. And this general tone and atmosphere and emotional quality evoked by the chord progression is one that maybe John is comfortable with, and it just kind of flows out of him. And in one sense, that's a good thing. But in another sense, it makes me question how seriously you want to do justice to this subject matter and give this song a distinct identity, its own special space musically, to communicate whatever tragedy you're trying to communicate. PTSD, for example. Yeah, like some parts like this, they sound strangely uplifting and hopeful. And maybe once we look at the lyrics, all these contrasting tones are going to make a bit more sense. It's just that in my mind, I think of songs like Endless Sacrifice, which has a very clear, consistent tone, which is evoking the sense of sadness and loneliness from touring without one's loved ones. There's no ambiguity, it can't really be misinterpreted. But some parts of this song are goofy and circusy and clownish. Some parts are uplifting and hopeful. Some parts are kind of like, hey, let's rock out and stuff. But there's no part really that sounds like despair or trauma or real hurt, real pain. And throwing some AI generated imagery in here along with that leaves a really icky taste in my mouth. Like, this is clearly AI, it's so hideous. That said, I am grateful they seemed to put in some real footage, but now that I'm looking for it, I'm struggling to find it. I guess this guy seems real, whatever's going on there. Vocally, James sounds really good on this song. There's conviction in his performance, he's feeling it, he's putting his all into it, but the vocal melodies themselves don't hold a lot of interest, and the cadence in the verses, the rhythm in the verses, is yet another recycled variation of one they've been using constantly throughout their recent albums, and even one they used in Night Terror. Da 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 da. And they did vary it with the polyrhythm slightly, but that's all it is. It's only a variation. It's not its own song. It's not a unique vocal melody to this story. Why am I getting so annoyed? I don't know. It's just that kind of thing annoys me, I guess. Like, am I really gonna have to pull up Night Terror to demonstrate this? Okay, so in Night Terror we have... And in this song, we have... Surely you can hear that similarity is so blatant, except that there's a beat missing between the phrases. That's basically the only variation, apart from some pitches here and there, but the cadence of this is the same. So is every single song on this album gonna have the same verse? Oh yeah, and there was also that weird similarity to Honor Thy Father throughout. Very similar. You have the spoken word parts. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I just do expect too much. Like, in some of the comments on Night Terror, I got a few comments that were along the lines of, well, listen, it's just music. It's not that serious. They've given us enough throughout their career. Why can't you just appreciate what they're doing now? They have nothing to prove. They're just making what they like. And that is fair enough. It's just weird to me that musicians of this caliber, who have demonstrated such creativity and inventiveness through the majority of their work, would suddenly take a turn into blatant repetition, recycling ideas, giving the impression of phoning it in a little bit. And that's not an accusation I'm making, but it's the impression that I get. from these compositions, that the fire isn't there anymore. You know, the well of wanting to push the envelope is running dry. And another reason I don't buy the whole excuse of them being too old to reinvent is because, well, I recently reacted to the new Opeth album, and that album blew my mind. Took me completely by surprise. And to be fair, Dream Theater may be a little bit older, but not that much older. So yes, I am comparing the two, and maybe I shouldn't do that. We're talking about different groups of humans individually, but I'm just saying that's why I feel confused about why one legacy group is still putting out really fun and exciting stuff, and the other legacy group is just kind of giving us what we've already gotten, complete with visuals and tones that don't do the subject matter of the lyrics justice. But on the positive side, there are parts in this song that I think are really sick. I was very complimentary about Mike's drum work. Pretty much a joy to listen to throughout what he was doing with this song. And there's like little flickers of ingenuity in the composition. Instrumentally, here and there. Those parts will probably keep me coming back to this track, and maybe I'll grow fond of this track over time. But frankly, I doubt it, especially since Night Terror didn't either at this point. And the last thing I'll say about this song is I'm still not giving up on the album. Just because the first two songs didn't do it for me, I'm holding out still, and I'm still going to give the album a full listen. But I guess since neither song has interested me, it's not the best sign. Realistically, my prediction for the album is that I'll find it reasonably enjoyable, but that I should really manage my expectations and not get too hyped, which is not the feeling that I wanted to have by the end of this reaction, but such is life. Let's look at the lyrics for this. Yeah, so the lyrics are of course about some form of PTSD from combat, from war, some powerful, disturbing imagery, such as comrades lying still, soulless eyes staring back at me. And this is pretty intense stuff, which is leading me back to the point that this topic, this imagery, this story deserves more appropriate music tonally. I also think it's a little questionable to write about real mental health struggles, real trauma that one has not experienced themselves. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any member of Dream Theater is a vet themselves. They could be within close proximity to a vet. Maybe they're relatives or something like that. Let me know. So yeah, to me, it's a little questionable to insert yourself into their lives and write about that for the sake of a song. However, I do think it's acceptable as long as the music is treated tastefully. You know, you can tell a story that you haven't experienced yourself as long as you're sensitive to that story and do your utmost to really get into the heart of whoever is experiencing this pain. But whether this song succeeded in doing that, or whether the writers went to the appropriate lengths to do that, I'm not sure. Alright, let me know what you guys thought of this track, what you thought of my analysis, whether you agree or disagree. Is this song more promising to you than Night Terror? Did you enjoy Night Terror too? Are these both bangers to you, or are they duds? If you fancy more of my Dream Theater content, check out the playlist, and you can also check out the reaction database spreadsheet down below. You can also check out my music down below, and there's also a link to my Patreon if you fancy some exclusive content and benefits. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks so much, and take care.